SHW. This is our wrestling.
This is insane what we're seeing right now.
We're going out tonight. It's been a long, long time. Make sure I look just right. It's going down.
Heads up, here comes the strap. All hail the queen.
Another spear, will it be enough?
No, not this
like
way.
this, not like
Come
this,
on.
no.
This is just bedlam right now.
Hey, what is going on here?
Let's start this party, then I'll feel alright.
You've got to be kidding me.
Holy cow.
And now, the voices of SHW. Brandon Benefield, Gerard Bonner, and Diana Michelle.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We took a little hiatus for the holidays, but we're officially back. It's the official podcast of SHW. SHW, this is our wrestling. I'm B-Double Brandon Benefield, GB Gerard Bonner, the lovely Diana Michelle. I'm coming off a big high because the Georgia Bulldogs are national champions. Then the same year that the Braves won the World Series. And not only that, but all of us are two-time award-winning champions. Commentary of the year, announcer of the year. You guys, I'm bubbling over here, guys. How's everybody doing?
I feel like I should be getting a check or something.
Hello. Funny how that makes everything better, right?
Oh my God, everything.
So how's everybody doing? I saw you guys last week at SHW35, but
Yes.
prior to that, we took off the whole month as far as doing the podcast here via Zoom, and so this is our first time saying what's up to the SHW faithful here.
What's up, SHW people?
And happy
You
New
guys
Year.
missed the show Friday night. You know, what is wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
I mean, there was 350 people there, minimum.
Mm-hmm.
But come on, man. If y'all were not there, what's going on? I need to know. I need answers right now. Right now.
Leave it in the comments. If you weren't there,
Right.
what's your excuse? What is your
Mhm.
excuse?
And it better be a good excuse. Like somebody better be at a funeral or something at 8 o'clock on a Friday night.
Well, let's hope
Okay.
that's.
Or they
that
might
wasn't
have
the
gotten
case.
snowed in Tennessee, or they might have been ill, or I don't know, I don't know.
There's a whole
But Happy
thing.
New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
2022. Wishing great
Oh.
things for the new year for you guys. And I think it started off fairly well for us. That's safe
Yes.
to say.
So yeah,
I
if you're
complain.
Yeah.
if
sorry.
you're unaware, they just announced the GWH Awards earlier this week on a Tuesday night, actually, and SHW once again represented pretty well, and
Yes.
SHW itself is the promotion of the year for the third year in a row.
3-time.
Who else did we have? We had Joe Black, Wrestler of the Year, 2-time.
Yep.
2-time.
Danny J, Female Performer of the Year, 4-time.
4 times.
Chip Day, 2-time Technical Wrestler of the Year.
Mhm.
Gary Lamb, of course, 3-time Promoter of the Year.
Mhm.
Diana Michelle, 2-time Announcer.
Mhm.
GB and yours truly, 2-time Commentary. Any other SHW I'm missing there, GB? You got the list?
I think you got them all. Off
the top of my head. How do you like that?
Yeah. Very well done.
Yeah.
Very
Very good.
well done. Absolutely.
But the thing I like about being Promotion of the Year is that kind of, and I think Dylan even made a post about it earlier this week. That kind of encapsulates everything. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, sure, there was somebody else got Match of the Year, another promotion got, Promo of the Year, or whatever the different other categories were. But when you're Promotion of the Year, I mean, that just means you got it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And to take one of Gary's words, I mean, it takes a tribe. And we have an awesome tribe.
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
That
We
we
have
do.
an amazing team, and I love how all of us come together, playing our various parts to do what we do and to make SHW work. And to me, again, what's great about these awards is they are voted on by your peers. So to me, in the music world, it's equivalent to the Grammys, right?
Yeah.
It's equivalent to those kinds of awards that you're voted upon by your peers, the people who work with you, the people who know about the business and they know about your work. So for the wrestlers and the wrestling community to call us the best promotion for 3 consecutive years, that says a whole lot. So thank you
My
all.
love, and thank you guys for voting. And let's do it again.
Let's.
Let's do it again.
Absolutely. We are, the three of us will be looking for a three-peat.
Yeah.
Promotion of the year, looking for 4 in a row. Now, what's so
Mhm.
cool to me about SHW getting it 3 years straight is that the first, because we started in October of 2018,
Right.
okay, SHW did. And so that first year didn't really count because it was just a couple months,
Few
a
months.
few months. And so, we weren't even up for in the running. But the first full year that we were in existence, we won
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, we've won it each year since. And that's just
Yeah.
crazy to me that a promotion just starting out it starts out at the top. And each year since then, everybody's been trying to knock us off, and it hadn't happened yet. So, and I don't see it happening anytime soon. Yeah.
And here's I think the other really good thing about it. Number one, it speaks to vision, right?
Yeah.
Like the fact that Dylan and Gary had a vision that was different than everybody else in the state, and they were willing to go with it and go with whatever came with that. People being upset. And, if you haven't seen the documentary, go watch the documentary. You can learn all about how this thing was created, because I think that's a great thing. And one of the great things that greatness does is it brings everybody up with it. And I think that's what we saw this year, in that a lot of other promotions really fought hard to not just be named best promotion, but to put out quality product that really was a result, I think, of all of the things that SHW has done over the years in terms of production, in terms of layout, in terms of just everything. And we saw that influence in all other promotions. So
Right.
whenever you can bring everybody else up with you, you've done a great thing.
Awesome. Yes. Totally.
Absolutely. And I just know that the year of 2022 is going to be bigger and better than ever. Because I feel like, despite what the rest of the awards may have said, that 2021 was one of our best years at SHW. Storyline wise, all the shows were knocked out of the park. And I just thought we killed it, and it was so good to be back for a full 12 months,
Yes.
after the craziness of 2020. Now, granted, there is everything is still kind of lingering right now. We're not out of the woods with this whole state of the world right now, but
Mhm.
compared to 2020, 2021 was just such a breath of fresh air. And to be able to come back for a full slate of shows every single month, what was really awesome. And of course, for us, the three of us, to be able to be up for an award where we worked the entire year, because in
Right.
2020, yeah,
We
we
had
won
6
the
months.
award.
Right.
Yeah, we won the awards, but it was like we only got to work half the year, if that,
Yeah.
and to be able to put in a full year's worth of stuff,
Yeah.
and then people to still go, oh, these guys are the best,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
makes you feel good. So,
it does.
Yeah.
people can say what they want about the awards, but I was excited and honored to be not only nominated, but then to win it as well. And I know you guys were too. So, it's award season. We're feeling good. Like I said, Georgia just won the national championship. So it's all good from where I'm sitting. 2022 is off to a great start.
I mean, I can't complain.
And we just had an amazing show on Friday. What were you
Yeah.
going to say, GB, before we get into that?
No, I was going to ask you, I know during World Series time, you went over to Truist Park to watch some of the games. Did you gather in any large place to watch the national championship Monday night?
Unfortunately, I did not, because for some reason they have the championship game on a Monday night. Had it been on like on a Friday or Saturday, I would have definitely gone to the Battery or, a big sports bar or something.
Okay.
But unfortunately, some of us have to have actual jobs and have to get up early, and the game didn't get over till like 1.
Speaking of, I was at work while my boss was at the game.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Wow.
So he just got back in on Wednesday, but yeah, he called the office, of course, on Monday. It's 12 degrees up here, but we're getting messed up and we're going to the game. And they were having a ball, and I'm just like, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I'm just going home.
Yeah.
Well, so
Whatever.
to kind of touch on what you were talking about, similar to what they did with the Braves. So when the Braves won the World Series, which, by the way, it's still super surreal to me that within the same year, technically not the same year, but the same season, that we get a Braves World Series trophy and the Dogs win the national championship. Dogs hadn't won a national championship in like 41 years. For the Braves, it was like 26 years. It's just super surreal to get it at the same time. But hey, it's it's good to be a Atlanta, Georgia fan at this
I feel
point.
like the curse is broken. And I'm going to be honest with you. I love the dogs. I do. And I was always a dogs fan. I'm always going to be a dogs fan. And there were times when I'd have football parties at my house and I would cook pots of chili, or we'd have hoagies, or I'd make, homemade salsa. I mean, everything. We had people coming in and out of my house watching football all day long. And it was always a Georgia day. Always, always.
Yeah.
Decked out head to toe, red and black.
Uh-huh.
Life happened, whatever. It just stopped being fun when, people changed and stuff like that. So I honestly have not watched a full game in about 7 years. And I'm going to tell you why.
Wow.
Every time I flipped the channel to Georgia, something bad would happen. So I felt like I was a jinx.
Wait, that was you this whole time?
Yes, it was all
Oh.
me. Look, I didn't even watch the Alabama game where they lost this year. But somebody said something to me on Facebook, and I responded.
Oh. Now it all makes
It was
sense.
me. So I did not even watch the championship game. I waited until it was over,
Oh,
heard they
man.
won, and watched the highlights.
Well, I would tell you
Man.
what, Diana. as a
Thank you.
Dogs
You're
fan,
welcome.
I would like to thank you for your sacrifice because
And now that the curse is lifted, maybe I can watch next year. I don't know. Should I leave it
Yeah.
alone? I don't know.
well, that's now you got me in a bind here. I'm not sure what the best idea is.
I'll just.
But you know what?
I'll
We've got
fill
it. We
out.
got a trophy. If we don't get
Yeah.
another one next year, it won't be the end of the world. Although
I'll
it would be
fill it.
nice to repeat again. But
Mhm.
Yes, I don't want to be the cause.
Well, maybe she watches game one, right?
go,
And
yeah.
if the first
see.
game
No,
of the
it's,
season,
all
they
it takes is one play.
oh, okay.
One play.
Well,
Look, that undefeated season where they only lost to like Auburn or LSU or somewhere where they only lost that one game. That's the
Yeah.
game I watched. That was the only game I watched,
okay.
and I stopped watching after that. That was the last time I've watched.
I
Well, you
get
know
it.
what? I ain't mad at you because we won this year. Braves won this year. Like, it's all good. But what I was going to say was, so the Braves had the parade, right? And so I ended up going to
Yes.
the parade and then going to SHW that night.
Right.
Well, the Dogs are having a parade in Athens on Saturday,
Saturday.
like 1 o'clock or noon or something like that.
Are you going?
So I'm up in the air right now because I'm also going to the Outlandish Paradise show in Canton
You got to have a ticket to get in. One tell
Saturday
you.
night. Right,
Yeah.
right. So it's going to be a long day if I decide to go all the way to Athens and do that.
But at
But-
least you're not calling the show, right?
But it's been 41 years since we've won a
It's been
national championship.
41 years.
They're
And you're
doing
right.
a parade. They're doing everything inside the stadium. That's presenting the trophy and everything. I mean,
Mhm.
it's going to be a big deal.
Hey.
Want there.
41 years sounds like once in a lifetime, right? Like it hasn't happened in our lifetimes,
Yeah.
right? So
Well,
I say, well, I'm just saying it hasn't happened in our lifetimes. Go with me. So I'm just saying it's one of those things that you do because, like, it's not a guarantee that,
Do it.
you will
Go.
know it's going to happen. I say do it. You already have your ticket to Ziki's show,
Yep.
and you don't have to
Sleep
be
on
there
Sunday.
early. So exactly.
It's a good point.
Exactly.
It's a good point.
So, listen, live and make the memories now versus regretting not going later.
So it sounds like Saturday's going to be a very busy day.
But
So
you
if
got this.
anybody else wants to join me, I'll be, apparently I'm going to be in Athens. And then I'm going to
You
be
might
in
need a
Canton.
driving partner. So,
Yeah, and then I'm going to be in Canton Saturday night because if you've been following SHW the last couple of months, Ziki has made it a point to come out the last 2 shows and give
Yes.
like a 10-minute infomercial promoting Outlandish Paradise, which good for
get it.
him. It's going to be
I
a great
get it.
show. It's just been cracking me up. I'm like, what's going on here? This is a turned into an
promote to the whole
infomercial.
team.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
Oh my God, who beat him up when he was rolling out of the ring and he was still selling tickets? He was rolling out of the ring. Who was that?
That's
It
funny.
wasn't this past show. It was last
Was it
show.
Cyrus? It was
oh, the
Cyrus, I
last
think.
show it was Sal
December.
Renaro. Sal.
Sal.
Yeah.
Sal beat him up and he was still rolling out of the ring selling tickets. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
God love him.
Consummate salesman.
But we even had a little bit of a crossover because at the end of his match last week, Evil Uno popped up on the screen,
Sure did.
challenging him to the main event on this coming Saturday at the Outlandish Paradise.
Yeah.
Right.
Proof that anything can happen in SHW.
And
Never
everybody's
know.
going to show up there. So
Mhm.
You
I'm
never know
really
what's
excited
gonna
about Thunder Rosa, though. I really, really am excited about her.
Thunder
Someone
Rosa's going to be
else's,
there?
too. Someone else's,
Yes.
too.
What?
Yes.
She might be one of my favorits. But
Might?
I have to remain unbiased, GB, as a commentator.
But you're not commentating the show. You can be
You're
by.
not right. Exactly.
You know how it's so weird to be going to the action building and not. This will be. I'm trying to think.
It's your first time.
Except for when I saw a concert there was like Rich Ward's band was playing. Other than that, for wrestling.
What band was that? What band?
Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, they're Fozzy. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know.
That's right. I forgot we saw Fozzy there too.
Yeah.
Duh. But yeah, it's just weird to go to a wrestling show and not, because ever since the very first show, when I bought tickets in October of 2018, then they asked me to do commentary, and so I never actually went to the show to watch the show.
Yeah.
Did they give you your money back for the ticket that you bought?
We gave the ticket to a buddy of ours.
Oh, cool.
My sister actually paid for the tickets, and then I would have paid her, but then I didn't go, so we gave a ticket to a buddy.
That's awesome.
Anyways,
Awesome.
That is awesome. Golly, how just things happen. Isn't that crazy?
and it's hard to believe how long ago that was. It doesn't seem like that long ago sometimes, but then sometimes like, wow, that was
Right.
3.5 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going down memory lane here. We got a show to cover. This past Friday, it was SHW35 kicking the year off in a big time way, as we always do. Big time show. And where should we start, guys? You want to just run down the card, run down the match order?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see. Kicking things off, Kevin Ryan. If you'll recall, Kevin Ryan and Jordan Kingsley formerly made up the tag team of Not Yet Rated, who were also members of the Honor Society. And they've had some bad blood over the last few months. The stipulation was they were picking each other's opponents for this show.
Yeah.
Jordan Kingsley picked Adam Priest, who was making his SHW debut. And I'll be totally honest with you. I was a little familiar as far as I'd seen him on AEW Dark a couple times. But as far as other indie promotions around the Southeast, I had not seen him personally. But I've heard good things. And according to Jordan Kingsley, who joined us on commentary the other night for this match, these guys, Adam Priest and Kevin Ryan, had a bit of an ongoing feud themselves, which I think is why Kingsley picked Priest as the opponent here. But I thought it was a great way to kick off the show. It was an amazing match, and it was, I think Adam Priest impressed the SHW crowd that was unfamiliar with him. Although there was quite a contingent there that was chanting for him right away. So I feel like a lot of people did know who he was. But how'd you guys feel about it?
I was impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, like you, I didn't know a whole lot about him. I knew his name. Meeting him before the show, he was a very nice guy. I didn't know what to expect. He came out, he handled business, and he laid into Kevin. I want to see more. I want him back. I want to see what he can do next. Seems to me maybe he will be. I don't know. He did come out to kind of give a helping hand against Kevin later on in the show. So who knows? I like it.
Yeah, I too was quite impressed with Adam Priest. It was my first time seeing him in action. And I got to give a shout out to Jordan Kingsley. You know, if you're going to pick your poison and pick an opponent that's going to be problematic, get somebody who you know they can't beat or who you know has their number. And he did that with Adam Priest. And I thought that was a brilliant move on the part of Jordan Kingsley. So I think if we're talking about outsmarting the other, I think Jordan gets a check in that box for his choice of Adam Priest. Adam Priest is a great wrestler. He reminds me of a wrestler who I likely can't name on this show, but he reminds me so much of this wrestler in terms of style, in terms of presentation, in terms of being super crisp. Like, when I saw him, that's the first person I thought of. And I was just like, you know what? This Priest guy has got it. And so I was impressed. And I learned something about the SHW faithful as well. They are an incredibly diverse and well-rounded group. Our crew knows their wrestling. And so, you know, folks might be showing up in that building for the first time, but it's not meaning that it's the first time that the SHW faithful has laid their eyes on them. And we got to see that with Adam Priest. And so I say, hey, this was a new year. Lots of new faces showed up. That's a new face that we need to see again at SHW. So all the powers that be, I'd like to see Adam Priest back in an SHW ring and as a regular at SHW for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Agreed.
I'm pretty sure we said that on commentary that night, was that, I hope this is not the last we see of this guy.
Absolutely.
I am curious as to who you're not saying on the air.
I know you are. I was trying to describe him without saying his name, so I'll just say this: he has crippling tendencies. Let's see.
Oh, I got you. I was leaning towards Brian Danielson.
Yeah, you know what?
Mhm.
The fans called him that, so yeah.
Did they really?
I got you. I
Mhm.
got you.
Yeah, I had my headset on, so I didn't hear it.
Now I
Yeah.
see.
Every
Now I understand why you're not saying it.
Yes.
I was thinking just as far as stature, his build, and his Christmas and everything. Brian Danielson vibes. Is
I could go with that
what I
too.
was
I mean,
getting,
like
yeah.
that whole makeup of a wrestler, they're all from that same school of thought in terms of precision and crispness. And I love that.
And just
love
build
that.
just kind of that shorter, stocky stature. Just
stocky, yeah.
Super intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
hopefully
powerful. I mean, he wasn't just some small guy. He was, like you said, he was built. He was powerful.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, hopefully that will not be the last we see of Adam Priest in an SHW ring.
Yes.
Moving on, before we got to the match number 2, we had the GM himself, the 3-time promoter of the year, Mr. Gary Lamb, coming out to the ring, and microphone in hand, of course. Now, he had joined us surprisingly on the pre-show prior to the beginning of SHW35, and he informed us that because of the state of the world right now and with the new variants floating around, that some last-minute changes had to be made. And he told us he would be coming out and making an announcement towards the beginning of the show to fill everybody in on some of the shuffling of the match card, so to speak. And he came out and informed us actually 3 different changes to the original card. One of those was, let's see, what was it? Michael Judas, Dylan McQueen, and Bryce Cannon. The 3 of them could not be there. So that meant that their opponents were going to have different opponents for their matches, which is interesting to me. And we talked about this on commentary, is that all month long you've been planning, you've been studying up, you've been focused on this one guy who you think you're going to face. And then literally right when the show starts, you find out, oh, that guy's not coming. Now I've got this other guy. So anyways, we'll get into those matches as we go down the card. But one of them that I mentioned was Judas. He was supposed to face Cyrus the Destroyer, right? Before Cyrus could come out to the ring, Ziggy Dice interrupts Gary Lamb, who's in the middle of making this big announcement. Of course, Ziki, he's promoting Outlandish Paradise.
Ziki.
He's being Ziki. And while he was out there, I think, what was it? Gary actually went behind his back and talked to Twitch and had some sort of ticket discount deal that Ziki didn't even know about. And
50%.
So, yeah, half off. And so Ziki got all fired up about it. And then Gary said, well, also, since I'm letting you out here to promote your show on my show, Cyrus, his opponent didn't show up tonight. So now you got Cyrus. And the fans went wild. And Ziki did not like that too much. But we ended up with an impromptu match there of Ziggy Dice and Cyrus the Destroyer. Your thoughts?
I hated it for Ziki. I hated it. I actually wondered, oh my God, is he going to be okay for his show in a week?
Right.
Like tomorrow. I haven't heard anything from him. So is he good?
Well, he walked out somehow. So I hope he's nursed his wounds in the last week. Because he took
the Vader bomb, though.
He took a lot. He sure did.
Yeah.
He sure did. That was probably the most costly win of his career.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So that's how it ended. It was only because, was it David Weekley was a ref in that match, I believe. Yeah. And he kept kind of trying to stop Cyrus from, because Ziki would be in the ropes and Cyrus was still going after him. At one point, Cyrus picked up David Weekley and moved him out of the way.
Moved him.
And
sure did.
Eventually, I think he did it once or twice more, and it was one too many times, and Weekley just, disqualified him.
Completely ignored the 5 count as well.
Yeah,
so.
you can't put your hands on the official. You can't be breaking the count. And so, weekly disqualified him. So Ziki somehow came away with the win via DQ, but he did
And
not
sold a
look
few
like
tickets in the process.
He
too.
didn't feel like he won. I'm
Right.
sure.
He didn't look like he won either.
No.
But,
No.
oh, and then to add insult to injury, so that ends. Cyrus goes to the back, and then up on the big screen comes Evil Uno, who,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you have kept up with these guys on social media, but they've been feuding over the past month on social media back and forth, and it's Twitch related. And I'll be totally honest with you, I don't have Twitch, so I don't really keep
I'm
up.
not on Twitch.
But I know that there's some sort of beef going on there, and they've been going back and forth on Twitter for a while now, to where like I was like, what in the world is like Ziki's got going on with Uno here? What's going on? Hey, what is going on here? And and
Oh, he
next thing we
crossed
know,
over?
Uno Evil Uno shows up on the big screen and says they're going to settle it in the ring
Mhm.
tomorrow night at the Outlandish Paradise. So there's your main event:
Okay.
Ziggy Dice versus Evil Uno. So
Mhm.
good luck to Ziki there, because
Absolutely.
he's the hometown guy. I don't have anything against
Yeah.
Evil Uno personally,
But
but
No,
aren't-
but he does claim SHW is his home turf.
GB,
He
I know
does.
where you're going with this, and I can neither confirm nor deny, and I don't want to talk about it.
Doppelganger?
I don't want to talk about
Doppelganger,
it.
maybe? Oh, okay. All right.
I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
The fans that are listening that have no clue what we're
They
talking
have
about.
no clue what's
What?
happening right now.
Talk about what? Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
No.
Oh,
well,
dear
goes back-
Jesus.
It goes back a few years.
Yeah. God bless
That-
Thunder Rosa.
That's a callback. That's a big callback. 2 callbacks. Anyways, moving on to the next match.
Yes.
Gunnar Miller.
Mm.
So his opponent was supposed to be Bryce Cannon,
Bryce
right?
Cannon.
Yeah. Who he called,
Mhm.
didn't he call him Bruce? I think.
Yes.
He called him everything except Bryce.
Well,
Yeah,
he ended up
did.
facing Carly Bravo, Bad News and
Mhm.
Tattoos, who, we talked about the awards earlier.
Yes.
This was not one of the categories, although I kind of feel like maybe they should add it.
Yes.
Well, part of me thinks that, but then part of me thinks, well, they've got a ton of categories as it is at this point. But you know what? Rookie of the Year, I think, could and maybe should be a category.
Mhm.
And a lot of talk was said all year long about Carly Bravo, well, and Hunter James. I'll give a nod to Hunter James too, because he got a lot of talk
Mhm.
too about
Yeah.
being one of the top rookies. But
Yeah.
I think if that had been an award, Carly Bravo would have won it hands down.
I agree.
And he ended up filling in at the last minute, made his way to Canton, and I think gave Gunnar a run for his money. I don't think
Did.
Gunnar was expecting Carly to put up such a good fight, but I thought it was a great match.
Mhm.
I was totally expecting Bryce, and you know how I feel about Bryce.
That's one of your-
Bryce, the frat daddy cannon.
Yeah.
I swear. this
You
kid-
guys got a little beef there, little heat.
A small
He
bit
has
beef.
beef. I'm chill. He's just mad his daddy's a fan. That's all. He's a fan of he's a fan of mine. He can't deal with it. He thinks I'm going to be a stepmom soon. I don't know. But anyway, he's afraid he's going to lose daddy's wealth to Diana. But I don't want it. But still, anyway,
Wow.
either way,
Wow.
I was really looking forward to Gunnar mopping the floor with Bryce. He
Mhm.
was very disrespectful the last time he was in our house.
Yeah.
Yes.
The last 2 times he was in our house. So I was really looking forward to that. So when I found out he was sick, I love Carly.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it did change. And Gunnar has my respect. You guys know Gunnar has my respect. But
Yeah.
I love to see Carly in action. He just, I don't know, his animation and just everything he does in the ring, just, it keeps my attention. I just want to, the faces he makes, oh my God.
Mhm.
GB,
I agree.
I believe
Totally looking forward.
I believe we said it before, GB. I believe it's called It.
IT.
And I
Not
believe
information technology,
and I
but
believe
it's IT.
and I believe Carly has it.
Absolutely. Not even the bad movie. It's Carly Bravo. And
Right.
I will tell you this, right here on this podcast and on commentary, we talked about believing that people like Ben Buchanan was a major star in the making. And we see the
Right.
path that Ben Buchanan has taken recently. I say the same thing about Carly Bravo. I totally agree. This guy should be Rookie of the Year somewhere, certainly here in Georgia, for the incredible first year that he's had. And now I believe this is his 3rd or 4th appearance at SHW. He impresses every time he shows up. last month he had an opportunity to be a tag team champion in a great match that the infantry had against Tech X. It's like amazing match. And so I'm excited. To me, every time I watch Carly Bravo, he gets better and better and better. And he throws wrenches in the plans of a lot of people. Again, if you're preparing for Bryce Cannon and you get Carly Bravo, that
Totally different.
Totally different. You can't prepare for that mindset. And so it's a great thing that Gunner made it out. But even Gunner in the ring gave big props to Carly Bravo because of all that Carly Bravo was able to do. And I'm just going to say this now. I think Carly Bravo is going to be a major star in the business. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think he ends up wearing somebody's championship gold in 2022. And who knows?
Carly, and I don't know if you know, he already has gold.
He does in IWE. That's right. And so I think there's more gold coming to him. I think there are more opportunities coming his way. He is a star. And so I think our SHW faithful, which I think we do a good job of, is recognizing star talent when we see it. Because you just never know when these people are going to end up in some other larger places. And he's already been, of course, in AEW on spaces like Dark and things like that. I think it's just a matter of time, folks. So let's enjoy this.
He teams with Sean, so I mean,
the door is wide open. Shout out to Carly Bravo, and shout out to Gunnar Miller, who we've talked about here on this podcast, has struggled to stay focused, but found a way to stay focused in this match. He anticipated a potential diversion and distraction. When it came, he stayed focused.
He got out of his head and he stayed focused.
So shout out to Gunnar Miller. And what a great promo he cut at the end. Good
my
Lord.
gosh. Straight from the heart. I mean, really? Yes.
Yeah, he got real. He kept it real.
He did.
Let's do this.
Football locker room or something. That was pretty awesome.
What we need to do is mark this one down so that this time next year, when people are talking about promo of the year, they've got one to look at, because this one is an early candidate. It's an early candidate.
I agree. He did
Absolutely. And
nice to hear him tonight, because you don't get it very often.
That's right.
Right. He's one that we don't hear talk very often. And so when the way he did it too was like so relaxed. He just sat down in the ring.
He was just sitting there
and just talked to the crowd, and just he was calling Tank by his real name. I mean, he was really talk about poking the bear. So here's the thing. The last few months, Reverend Dan Wilson, Tank, they've been distracting Gunner. They've cost him 2 matches prior to this past show. And again, like you said, GB, he didn't let it affect him this time. They tried. Tank's music came on at some point during the match, tried to get in his head. He stayed focused, hit the jackhammer, the spear, the jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. That was all she wrote. But he just straight up called Tank out and said, look, I know you're a deathmatch guy. I'm not into deathmatch. I'm into wrestling. This is Southern Honor. We wrestle here. Come here. Let's wrestle. And now we await an answer here, I guess. So I don't know if it'll be February, March, any other time. I don't know. But I hope it's sooner rather than later, because I want to see Gunnar Miller in a ring with Tank. So this all goes back, by the way, to the Rumble Jack, where Tank was eliminated by Gunnar Miller. And for whatever reason, he's decided to kind of like pick his points here, pick his spots.
Do you recall the moment that he was eliminated? Was he stabbing somebody in the head with some skewers at the time?
Well, one of the visuals I have, clear as day, because I've seen the video a million times where it's been shared, was our buddy Nathan getting skewered in the head right over the second rope. I know Danny only took some skewers to the head as well.
Sure did.
But and then I know at one point Tank went through the table that was propped up in the corner thanks to Gunnar. And then Gunnar also was the one that eliminated him. So there's all this like built up animosity there from that match. And Tank's been holding on to it and picking his spots here. And, interrupting Gunnar in a number 1 contenders match and costing him that match. And then costing him the match against Judas, which had championship implications to that match, So it's been interesting to watch how it all unfolds here. But to see Gunnar just finally say he's had enough, and he's just like, look, let's just do this. Let's call him out and let's have a match. I just don't know when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen, if he's going to answer the challenge. But hopefully sooner rather than later. So we'll see how that goes. But Moving on down the list, GB, we were talking about Carly Bravo, and you mentioned the match he had last month with Technical Excellence.
Mhm.
So this match number 4 was Technical Excellence defending their tag team championships against the Approved. And we had a special guest ref in this match. It was Todd Sexton. And the reason for that, and the reason for this match even taking place, I think, mainly was because it was the Jimmy Rave tribute match. And all 5 of these men, including I'm counting Todd Sexton there, had quite a connection over the years
Yes.
with Jimmy Rave, and
Mhm.
which kind of made this match all the more special.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about it on the pre-show. We talked about it a little bit on commentary, whether or not the Approved deserved to even have a title match. You know, because I thought you could still have a Jimmy Rave tribute match without putting the titles on the line.
Mhm.
But it is what it is. I didn't make that part of the deal. But people online, the fans, the only reason I bring it up, because a lot of the fans wondered, like, well, how did the Approved earn a shot? Like, why are they getting a shot at the titles? I wish I could tell you. I don't know. But I do know that the fact that the titles were on the line and the fact that Chip Day and Kyle Matthews retained the titles, I felt
Mhm.
like made the win that much more special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not only was it a
Yeah.
brilliant match, it was a great tribute, but the fact that they retained the titles with them being on the
Mhm.
line kind of made it even more special and even a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it doesn't seem like there's a rhyme or reason why there's a title shot, posted or whatever. I mean, the Buchanans, how many did they have before? Right. So, I mean, God bless them, love them to death, but I still could not figure out why they were getting 2 title shots.
Mhm.
And of course, with the Approved, and they had just lost to All Star Special the month before. I'm like, but it was a Jimmy Rave thing.
Yeah.
And that's what made it special. And personally, I never got to meet Jimmy Rave, but it's very hard to go anywhere independent wrestling, especially in Georgia, and not hear something about what he contributed to the sport
Right.
and his knowledge and his ability and his all-around presence. I mean, it's really hard to go anywhere without hearing something where Jimmy Rave has influenced a ton of people, and a lot of people who are influencing others, especially Chip Day and Zach and the Approved and Todd, and you got all these people in or most of these people in the awards categories, and Sal Renaro, big influenced by Jimmy Rave, and his legend's living on. And I mean, it was a great match. I mean,
Yeah.
those 2 teams gave each other straight hell, and it was like, holy crap, will Tech X come out on top? I mean,
Right.
it was just intense, and to see Todd and do his thing as referee, and he is so knowledgeable. I mean, I don't know if anybody really realizes that unless you're in the back or you actually spend time with him, but
Mhm.
he's so knowledgeable in this whole wrestling, everything from
Yeah.
door to door. He just knows what he's doing. And I was impressed. I loved the match. I mean, I would
Mhm.
watch that again and again. Honestly, they did awesome, and that's just like a better word. That was an amazing match.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of understanding the tag title element of it, I think it really had a lot more to do with Jimmy Rave's love for tag team wrestling.
Yeah,
Over the years, I mean, tag team partners from Alex Shelley to Sal Renaro. He had the Rock and Rave situation, of course, in Impact with Lance Archer and Christy Hemme. He was heavily involved in tag team wrestling. So the tag titles being on the line with 2 tag teams, 4 men that were heavily influenced by him. I understand that a lot better now versus just looking at the merit of the Approved, right? So it really had more to do with Jimmy Rave as just a personality and in tribute to him. And I will say that they had a great tag match, to your point, Diana. Like, they really, really did. And I think, all the while it was an honor of Jimmy Rave, which was just something very, very special. So again, these are moments that mean a whole lot. And I'm also glad that Tech X was able to come out with the win, because if the Approved had won under those circumstances, yikes, what do you do, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
not like we can say, well, the match doesn't count because it was in tribute. No, it still counted. So I'm glad that Tech X, knowing that Jimmy Rave was heavy on their hearts, was still able to pull out the win in that scenario. So shout out to
Right.
Tech X, who I believe should be considered in the tag team of the year conversation, because they
They
are
should,
one of the best tag teams that we've ever
Definitely.
seen.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and they
Definitely.
should have been in it for this 2021 awards, but
I agree.
you know, it's neither here nor there at this point. It's a little too late for that. But back to the awards real quick. I think I mentioned him. Did I mention that Chip won Technical Wrestler of the Year?
Yes, you
Because he's
did.
2-time.
You
This is for
did.
the second time.
That's right.
Which what's kind of cool about that is the award is named after Kyle Matthews, who's
Correct.
won
That's
it
right.
like 8 times or something like
8
that.
times. That's right.
More
And so, and he was up for it this year as well too.
That's right.
Chip Day ended up winning it, but it's named after his tag partner, which is just kind of crazy how
Yeah.
that worked out. And then, of course, talking about Jimmy Rave won the Legend Award this year,
Yes, he did.
posthumously, of course. And but what was really cool and special is on the award show is Chip had just won the Technical Wrestler Award, and then they presented the Legends Award, and they kept Chip on the line. And Chip kind of accepted it on behalf of Jimmy Rave and Jimmy Rave's family and other close friends and wrestlers as well. And if you do happen to go back and listen to it, that would be this is your warning from me to get a
warning,
tissue.
yes.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
get a tissue
Very
because
much.
Emotional moment of the night. no
it
doubt.
was very emotional, and Chip did a brilliant job of really just everything he said was beautiful. And so, but it was
Yeah.
it'll get you choked up. And but anyways, it was cool that Chip was able to accept that on behalf of Jimmy Rave. It was cool that Chip and Kyle were able to win the match and retain the titles, and it was all just a very special match. And
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done.
Mhm.
But what was the most interesting thing was after the fact, and this may have been the biggest pop of the entire night, while Chip and Kyle were celebrating in the ring, we heard the familiar sounds of some theme music that it even took me a minute to realize. Like, I knew I recognized it, but it had been so long since I had heard it that I had to turn around to look at the screen. I was like, wait, whose music is this?
Right.
And then as soon as we look at the screen, it's Matt and Joey Lynch, who we had not seen since I believe last March.
Correct.
When they had lost they were the inaugural tag team champions, and they had lost in March of 2021, and we had not seen them since. And I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if they were even ever coming back, because everybody's got
Things going on. Yeah.
Life that happens. They've got family life and other things going on, and so I just didn't know.
Joey sporting his new look, no ponytail.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the crowd erupted, and and I say it all the time, the roof's going to come off the Action Building, but this was definitely one of those times where the crowd just exploded. GB
Top of the night, for sure.
And GB had an awesome reaction, just because it was so unbelievable. It was like, wait, am I really seeing this?
Right.
And there was no talk. All they did, they came out on stage, they pointed at Chip and Kyle, and basically telling me that that's who they're gunning for. And
God, I can't that.
Now here's what's interesting, and I don't know if you guys saw this. It was either the day after or maybe a couple days later where our GM posted on social media saying that, like, he posted the picture of Matt and Joey when they showed up, but then he said, and he talked about, I love these guys. They were there from the beginning, but then they left and hadn't heard from them since. And they, he was basically saying, like, they're not just going to come back and get a title shot.
Right.
He made it sound like they're going to have to work their way from the bottom up. So I don't know if Matt and Joey are assuming they're just going to walk in and get a shot at the titles. But then again, you mentioned Bull and Ben. We mentioned the approved. Like, it's just, I don't know how it all works. I don't make the matches. We just call what we see in the ring. So
I think we're basically coming to stake their claim that is their goal. That's where their eyes are leading. They want their titles back, whatever it takes. And they're going. I think they realize that you can't just walk back up in the house and take what you had, because you did lose them to lethal poison. Am I right?
Here's the thing,
Who
though.
did?
Here's the thing. All I know is that when they were here and they were the tag team champs and they were at SHW every single month for the first 2 years,
Yeah.
they, to me, were one of the best tag teams,
Yes.
in my opinion, on the indie scene, period.
Yes.
And since Tech X has formed, which was what, last January maybe?
Yes.
Or whenever
Something
it
like
was. And the Lynches have been gone, but now Tech X has come on the scene. And to me, now Tech X is like the best tag team in
The
indie
best tag
wrestling.
team.
And so
Right.
now when the Lynches showed up the other night, I'm like, talk about a match I never knew I wanted to see until right
Oh
this
my God.
moment.
Yes.
So I don't know when it's going to happen, but I want it to happen sooner
I
rather
can't
than
wait.
later.
Yeah.
I can't wait. And I'm telling you, when Lynch Mob was tag champions, I thought nobody was beating them. There was no way, no how they were going to be champs forever.
Yeah.
Whatever happened. They took off whatever they came. You guys know I love Tech X. You know it. But that match there, give it to me now. I want it now. I want it now.
So we
It's
know
gonna
a
be good.
few things, right? We know about Gary Lamb. And Gary Lamb, I won't say he holds grudges. He can be fairly forgiving at times. But
When?
there are certain things that do it for Gary Lamb. So, there's this old saying that says absence makes the heart grow fonder. Yeah, I think that's what's happening because we've forgotten a few things. So leave it to me to give us the history lesson. And the history lesson goes like this. The Lynch Brothers were one of the first people who Gary Lamb specifically said they must be in SHW. Hey, Dylan, bring anybody you want, but you gotta bring the Lynches. He went out on a limb. He's the only real request at the start of this thing that was made was for the Lynches. The Lynches come in. Eventually, tag team championships are created. They had a stellar cage match to win the titles. Man, all was great. The pandemic hits. They come back end of 2020. We've quoted this several times when Gary Lamb made a promise to them and said, hey, guys, we haven't done a good job of bringing you great tag teams. So I'm going to go out on a limb in 2021, and I'm going to bring the best tag teams in the world here to SHW. And he made good on his promise. The only problem is the Lynches didn't show. They didn't show for so long until Gary Lamb was ready to strip them of the tag team championships if they didn't show up in March. They were supposed to show in January. No show. They're supposed to show in February. No show. He said, if you don't show up in March, I'm stripping you of the tag team titles. They show up in March. They lose the tag titles, and we've heard nothing from them. Not a word. Gary Lamb, the one guy who goes out on a limb for you, and you screw him. There's no way Gary Lamb's giving them a title shot anytime soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if he throws the entire kitchen sink at them before they get a title shot. So I want to see the match. You want to see the match, but we can't forget that they didn't just let Gary Lamb down. They let everybody in the wonderful action building down. The SHW faithful heard nothing from them for almost a year. No happy Thanksgiving, no happy 4th of July, no Merry Christmas, no Happy New Year. And you just show up in Daddy's house and expect Daddy to put you back in the place you're supposed to be. It doesn't happen that way. No, I know you don't want to call Gary your daddy. I get it. But what I am saying is, think about this. We don't get to leave home and not say 2 words and then just show up and pick up where we left off.
I don't know, man. The prodigal son, the whole story was just about that.
And here's the difference. Gary ain't that kind of daddy.
This is true.
Stop calling Gary daddy. It's weird.
He's somebody's daddy, just not yours.
He ain't my daddy.
Ugh.
He might be the godfather of Canton. We're just going to leave it.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, the Godfather, whatever you want to call him, I don't think he's just going to be that open, say, come on in and fight
Don't
for the
need-
tag titles.
Oh, you're
don't either.
absolutely right. I agree.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But we can all anticipate
We can wish.
the Lynch mob making their way through the tag teams of SHW to finally
And
reach.
that's the other thing. Like,
Tag.
won't All-Star Special have something to say about that? Like,
Well,
won't
while
Ziki
they're
and
making their way
Ashton have
through
something
as
to say
well,
about
I'm
that?
sure All-Star Specials in that mix somewhere. They deserve a title shot.
They do.
They deserve a title shot.
They had the shot, and then it got interrupted by approved.
Thanks to
that
the
time.
approved.
Yeah.
Right.
And they had an amazing match against Tech X.
Yeah, that was the first time we've seen
So
both
they deserve their rematch then.
both Huck and Hansen like wrestle. Yeah,
Wrestle. Yeah. Yeah. Rather.
yeah, exactly.
Jinx.
What's
Right,
interesting
they-
too that you just made me think of is I understand why Gary would have beef, why he'd be upset, but you mentioned the fans too. But judging by the reaction from the fans, I don't know that they have their feelings hurt that badly because they were very excited.
And somebody's going to get mad at me for this, but I'm a little concerned about our SHW faithful right now. And I'm going to tell you why. They have very short memories. October, still here 3 after almost a year of running roughshod over people, choking folks with bats, hitting people with fire, all this stuff. David Ali goes away. 2 months away, David Ali comes back and he's a hero. What did he do different? He just went away.
He stopped sticking his tongue out.
So
That was-
I'm just saying the memory of our SHW faithful is just, it's short.
But
And
listen,
so-
It's a good
BB,
point.
even though that he choked you out, even though he did all those things,
Mhm.
SHW faithful were still singing Hallelujah.
This
They
is-
were still singing in his heelish form. The devils of SHW were singing his praises. They were.
This is my point. This is my precise point. So, you know, what we consider hurting them, maybe they don't think is hurt. I don't know. I don't know. I tell you what I am interested in. I'm interested in what Matt and Joey have to say. Whenever a
would
mic
love
is put
to
in
hear
front
from-
of them, I want to hear, you know, why they've been away for 9 months and what made them come back. Why now? I'm very curious. And maybe that'll fill up some of the gap because I got questions. I still have questions for Ali. So maybe I think too much. My bad. I don't know. I'm just like, you just can't
I think you
slap me
deserve
upside the
it.
face and then,
You
know.
finally deserve an apology. If he's going to be nice, he needs to apologize. I agree.
I will
What
say
I-
this
well-
though, GB, is that maybe you think too much, but I don't think much. So like it evens everything
I beg
out.
to differ. I beg to differ. I know what would really solve this, but I don't know that we'd get what we really deserve. But you know,
Maybe that's an all-fair conversation. I don't.
no.
know.
I can bring it on there. It's easy.
What was
We
it?
deserve the return of the queen. That
Oh, here we go.
we deserve.
Okay.
That's what we deserve. It's what
Mr.
we.
Hawk has been busy out of
deserve.
state. I'm sure she'll make the rounds.
Listen,
Oh.
she has been saving other spaces, saving other states, saving other promotions. And listen, I understand.
Expanding her queendom, you mean?
I serve at the pleasure of the queen. And I had to remind a certain someone of that on Friday as well.
Yeah, it got a little.
You'll see on IWTV.
It got a little dicey, and we'll get to that match because it was during the main event where we were
Mhm.
joined by a special guest on commentary.
SHW35.
God bless you. Sat right beside the mean girl herself and did not get punched.
It was weird because
I
she
was the
nuts.
buffer.
She was also the not so mean girl.
This is true.
Anyways, everybody's changing. David's changing.
Oh,
Danny's changing. It
oh,
was kind of freaking
oh.
me out a little bit.
Yeah,
Anyways,
we
we'll
gotta
get to
talk
that
about
match.
that.
We'll get to
We
that
will.
match.
we will.
GB, you said something that actually kind of leads me into this next match. You said the queendom. Of course, you were referring to Rekka Tahaka and her
Correct.
queendom.
Queen Rekka Tahaka. Yes.
But if anybody's familiar with Dylan McQueen and the Dylan
Yes.
McQueendom,
Yes.
he was supposed to be there. And he was
Was.
supposed to face Jordan Kingsley in our next
Mhm.
matchup. However,
Mhm.
he was one of the ones Gary had mentioned had to get get switched out at the last second. I will say, having seen Dylan before, you and I have called his stuff at the Nightmare Factory. A lot of people in the Southeast are familiar with him. He showed up.
That one.
Yeah, and he's been he was at the Rumble Jack
Sure
this past year. But this was going to be the first time we saw him in singles action in an SHW ring. However, he couldn't make it last minute, and we got a replacement with another guy that I'm a huge fan of, and I was very excited to get to see him return because his last couple of appearances in SHW, it had been a while, but they didn't go so well. It had been last summer. He faced Sunny Days and lost. I believe he made a brief appearance in the Rumble Jack.
And eliminated Sunny Days,
Well, yeah, but he also didn't last very long himself. Of course, I'm talking about the man from Skrilladelphia, Skrilla the Great.
Two-time award-winning.
That's right. So this year he
Most
was the
improved.
Yep, and Feud of the Year.
Feud of the Year.
So it was cool seeing Skrilla there. Jordan, he had joined us on commentary earlier in the night. I got got love for Jordan. But I also got love for Skrilla too, because when Skrilla showed up, I didn't know it was last minute. I didn't know he was going to be there. I don't know that the crowd was feeling it. I feel like they were a little more behind Jordan in this match. But to me, it was kind of a ooh. But again, as a commentator, as the award-winning commentary team, we got to remain unbiased, right?
Broadcast journalists. That's right.
But anyways, they put on a great match. It was good to see Skrilla back. It was good to see Jordan in action, as always. What did you guys think of this match before it was rudely interrupted?
I am a Skrilla fan. I am a Skrilla fan. I love the guy. I've loved seeing him progress and grow and get better and better and better. He's really got his nose to the grind right now. He is determined to move on up.
To the
move
east
on
side.
up to the east side.
Got that deluxe apartment in the sky.
In the sky.
Sorry, my bad.
No, but he did bring it. He brought it. He brought his A game to Jordan. I didn't really know what to expect. Jordan's not Walker. He's a high flyer. He's all over the place. Skrilla, he has a wide array of arsenal, I guess you would say. I thought he was just gonna. I love Jordan. I was so pulling for Skrilla. I was always all the way over on the Skrilla side on that one. I was. Sorry, Jordan. I gotta be true, man. I gotta tell you the truth. I gotta tell you how. I mean, I can't lie because. Go ahead. I'm gonna shut up.
I will say this. I think it was an even matchup. And it's interesting because, this was all supposed to be part of the Pick Your Poison. And this is part of the reason why, again, I say Jordan Kingsley did the better Pick Your Poison. He ensured that his opponent obviously had lots of beef and had a one-upsmanship with, of course, Kevin Ryan. But he also ensured that his opponent was able to arrive safely and be healthy and be safe and all those things. Kevin Ryan did not take those kinds of precautions to ensure. So really, Kevin Ryan's choice was not even up to Kevin Ryan. That, I think, really threw a lot of things off, but it was a great moment for Skrilla the Great. I think Skrilla the Great, certainly when you look at what has happened to him in this last year, all of the things that he's done, most improved, et cetera, this then becomes the right time for him to show up at SHW and to completely take it to Jordan Kingsley. I think sometimes we can get caught up as wrestling fans and pundits in wins and losses. And sometimes the greatness of a superstar isn't necessarily always displayed in a win or a loss. You look at what happened between Cyrus and Ziki. Ziki technically got the win, but did he? Right? And so I think, and you look at this situation where Skrilla actually walked away from the ring and Jordan Kingsley needed help, thanks to some things that happened afterwards. He was only beaten down because Skrilla gave him a really hard time. So I think Skrilla really came out and showed the world SHW is a place that he belongs. And
Right.
I'm more excited about the possibility of seeing him back. I'm equally excited for Jordan Kingsley, who needed this win
Mhm.
more than Skrilla, believe it or not. Because
Right.
after the 2021 that Jordan Kingsley had, he was going to really have to really reconsider perhaps other career options if he didn't
Right.
get a win. Because all year had been filled with losses and disappointments and things of that nature.
I mean,
So it was a
Cyrus ran crazy on him
oh,
in 2021.
gosh. I
I'm
mean,
just glad that mess is over.
yeah, for his well-being, because
Right.
Cyrus put it to him.
It was getting hard to watch every
It
Yeah.
was. We started to need the mercy rule when it came to those two.
Right.
Like I was
So-
tapping out for him. You know.
Yes, like please, sir.
Heart
So,
of a champion, but good God.
absolutely.
So yeah, so Kingsley came out on top of the match, but like you said, it was very even throughout most of the match. But Kingsley did get the win. However, afterwards, it didn't look like he won much because
Yeah.
Ryan attacked him, and then Diana, you alluded to this earlier. That's when Adam Priest came back out and actually made the save for Jordan there. So does that mean kind of a new alliance there between Adam Priest and Jordan Kingsley, or we're going to see more of Adam Priest in the future?
I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't hate it either, but what I do know for sure is that things are not over between Kevin, Ryan, and Jordan Kingsley. So
Mm-mm.
we
Not
will
by a
see.
long shot.
Not yet by a long shot.
Right.
Right. Moving down the list, though, we had Sal Renaro,
Uh,
and if you recall last month, for some reason, Sal Renaro got in the ring and was calling out the Heathen Cruel for the damage
Because of Sonny. Yeah.
the damage that he had done to Sunny Days. And
Yeah.
Sunny Days, of course, being one half of Happy Madness with Sal Renaro. At one point, they were the Southern Fried Tag Champs. And, yeah.
Well, Sal's not exactly in his right mind to be calling out.
He seems to have
Cruel.
a few screws loose.
Right.
Well, Cruel was not there last month. But guess what? He got the message. He heard the challenge. And he was there. He was there this past week. And so we saw Sal Renaro facing the Heathen Cruel. And GB,
Got the win.
I said it throughout the night, throughout the match on commentary. And Diana, I'm sure you felt the same way from where you were sitting. I was shocked at how much of a fight Sal Renaro put up against Cruel. I couldn't believe it. I think everybody watching anticipated a squash match of sorts, or at least a pretty big beatdown. And Sal Renaro,
Sal's squirrely. He's technical, but he's so squirrely. It's like Cruel couldn't get his hands on him. He just kept slipping through, through his legs, around his. He has games and he has jokes. Like I said, he ain't all there.
whatever he's got, it was working for him because, I mean, he
It
wouldn't stay down. He would take a beating, take a licking, and keep on ticking, as they say. And he
You see how these people who are kind of off, they can take a lot. It don't register. It's like the pain doesn't register. So they don't know they need to chill. They just keep on coming and keep on coming.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But whatever it was, though, I was just stunned.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree. I was stunned. I could not believe the things that I saw in that match. I could not believe how long he hung with Cruel. And I can't believe that he got the win.
Yeah.
He did.
After
He put him through the table.
Like, huh?
Sal put Cruel through the table.
If I had not been there myself, I would not have believed it. So go to IWTV when this
Please.
hits and watch it, because you need to see it yourself. He did not have the help of a tandem. He did not have a faction. He
didn't
put
have
Cruel
a
through a table.
chain.
Right.
He needed a chain,
Yeah.
but he
he
didn't have all that. He didn't have.
Yeah.
Speaking of chain, you know, GB, you even pointed it out. You know, normally Brooklyn is with Cruel, and Brooklyn seems to be the only one that can kind of keep him on a leash and kind of pull him back or calm him down when need be. And she wasn't there, so he was completely unleashed the whole time.
Yeah, completely. He's destroyed ringside.
And I don't really want to get into it because there was a lot of backstage aftermath, some heat, some bad stuff that went down. But yes, there was some stuff involving the crowd when he was on his way out. and we don't condone any of that. I hope that it doesn't happen again.
This could be the problem of Brooklyn not being there, right?
Yeah.
Like he was completely.
As much as I hate it, I'm gonna need her to be there.
Yeah, like I mean, he has never behaved this wild outside of when Brooklyn was there. I mean, don't get me wrong, putting Zach through a table was significant.
She
allowed
that.
And when he went to go even crazier, she pulled him back.
Right.
And Zach was also on the inside of the guardrail. That's not to excuse it,
but I mean, think about this. He threw the ring stairs. I mean, like
he threw both pieces of the table.
Yeah, I mean, he just snapped.
Yeah,
and it was
so not only
with
Brooklyn not being there, but add on to that Sal beat him. And,
right.
Not only shocked the crowd,
through a table,
but shocked Cruel as well. Just real quick, just to rewind 1 second. One of my favorite things that Sal did during the match, and maybe this is something that Cruel, because he's wrestled most of his career without a mask, up until the past 6 months to a year as he started wearing this mask. And when Sal went to turn the mask and kind of blinded him temporarily.
Yeah.
I was like, that's brilliant. Like
absolutely brilliant.
Like,
why haven't more people
such
thought
a
of that?
Sal thing to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, it was a wild match. The aftermath was insane. I honestly don't know how much of it's going to be on IWTV, so I don't know where where it's going to cut off. So
well, if it's not on IWTV, it's definitely on Facebook.
Yeah, because I was gonna say if you didn't see it in person,
video.
Yeah, you'll probably see it somewhere if you hadn't seen it already. But it was a little nuts. But
thankfully, everybody's okay.
Yeah. Nobody was seriously injured. Everything was good. But moving on to our main event. Speaking of everything being wild, the main event saw Joe Black and AC Mack teaming together, taking on Owen Knight and David Ali.
Weirder.
Which was which was a bit of a,
and it got weirder.
Which was a bit of a new era reunion. It already had people talk. It already had the fans talking prior to the show, like, "Hey, this is kind of a new era reunion." And then all of a sudden, the actual new era music hit, and out comes Danny Jordan to complete the reunion of sorts with Danny, Owen, David Ali, and that was pretty wild. And so Danny
the love from the fans. Oh my God.
And the fans were going nuts. And again, GB, like you're right. I don't quite understand unless the only explanation is absence makes the heart grow fonder. Because I mean, other than that, like I don't know. You're right.
Maybe
David
was such familiarity makes you feel more comfortable.
David was such a bad guy. And so all of a sudden,
literally.
And same with Danny, being the real mean girl. She was just mean. She's just mean. And now
you
felt love
that.
It though.
Yeah. And
those fans love the torture. They love it.
So she ends up joining us on commentary, which, by the way, we didn't know that was going to happen. So like there was no chair waiting for her when she got out there. So we thought her, with her history being the real mean girl, I thought she was going to be pretty fired up. But no, she just went and got a chair and came back over, and I was all.
She took my chair.
Oh.
Of all the chairs, she made a point to take my chair, and it is fun. It's Danny. She can have it. It's fine. But it was mine.
I did not realize.
I had to get a chair from a fan gave me his chair, so I would have to sit.
Gotcha.
Wow. Mean girl tendencies. Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. Well, so anyway, she joined us on commentary in Diana's chair, apparently, which I was unaware. So, but from what I could tell from GB, you could back me up here. Until you brought up the Rekka thing, but prior to that, she seemed to be pretty good in a pretty good mood. And,
I need to know about this. You need to tell me, right?
You'll see it on IWTV. But let me just say, I tried my best to steer it quickly back to the ring that was happening in front of us, or the match that was happening in the ring.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I'm the guy that's going to ask the questions. Again, you don't get to leave home for an extended period of time and us not know why. So I mentioned we have not seen her since Still Here 3. And we haven't. And
she had an injury.
She didn't want to acknowledge the queen because the queen put the beat down on her so bad that it caused her to leave SHW for 3 months.
You say that to her?
No.
Before I
No.
could say it, Brandon steered things away. But
Thank
the
God.
reality
You
of it
punched.
is,
She would have punched you.
well, she wasn't gonna punch me. She likes me. She'd have punched Brandon. She likes
Wait,
me.
no, wait, what makes you think she likes you? Wait a second.
Well, here's the deal. But what I do know is she likes me, but she doesn't like the queendom. And I did openly admit that I serve at the pleasure of the queen.
That's
so-
nobody questions that, GB.
Well, I just wanted it to be, I didn't want anybody to think that, another queen tries to show up and my allegiance changes. No. I am loyal to the soil. All right. So shout out to the queen who is still, and by the way, I am going to make good on my promise. I know she's busy, but I did promise we're going to deliver the queen to the podcast, and I'm going to make sure that happens so that the faithful know that the queen is still here. But yeah, we did have
that would be
conversation.
interesting.
But now I will say this because I don't want to get too lost. I also asked her, what's going on with this new era thing?
Uh-huh.
Because to me, I'm just like, again, my memory being what it is, a year ago, those three were standing in the same ring, surrounded by a steel cage. David Ali was the champion, and the final view that you have is a handcuffed Owen Knight with poor Danny Jordan having to count the 1, 2, 3, almost being threatened by David Ali. And now the three of them, are singing Kumbaya. What is happening here?
Maybe David was exercised.
Well, what she did say, though, that families fight, and sometimes you have to fight it out to realize that, hey, we love each other, which I understand, because sometimes the best fights we've ever had are with our siblings.
Heard. I have 2 brothers. I know exactly what you mean.
Exactly.
I got 4
That's
sisters.
a long fight if that's the case.
I got
this. Some family feuds last for a long time.
Well, I've got 4 sisters, and they beat me up ever since I was little. So
there you go. I mean, you
Anyways.
can't beat them up. That's not fair. So
I know, right? It's not fair.
What?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that because I got it. I got it from the top and bottom. I have an older and a younger brother, and they beat crap out of me. I had to fight for my life. I'm still here.
But there you go.
Still here 3. 4, yeah, 3.5, whatever. Well, on to the actual match at hand.
What a match.
And I'll be honest, GB, like,
we hadn't even talked about that yet. I'm sorry.
trying to focus on the match when Danny's over there and there's a lot of conversation and craziness going on, especially when it spills to the outside.
Yeah.
You got 2 guys over here fighting it out. You got 2 guys over here fighting it out. It's kind of hard to keep up with, man. It's like
it was
Tell
a
me about
challenge.
trying to focus here. But I do know that at one point, was it David and Mac ended up fighting their way to the backstage?
Mhm.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
Owen and Joe left in the ring. Joe ends up getting the pinfall over Owen Knight, and he immediately calls for the microphone, immediately calls for Gary Lamb, saying, hey, I pinned your champion. Now, keep in mind, last month, Gary told him, you're not getting a rematch after the stunt that Joe pulled last month. And, of course, Joe's not happy about that. But he pins Owen Knight in this tag match. He calls Gary out, says, hey, I pinned your champ. Where's my rematch? No Gary. Nobody's coming out. And then here's where things got real hairy. He came down to the ringside where we were sitting, grabbed Danny by a handful of hair.
Surprisingly, though, he didn't go straight for her.
Yeah, because we didn't know what he was doing. We thought maybe he was just making his way to the back. And then he stopped at the table, and then he turned, grabs a handful of hair, rips the headset off, throws her into the ring, puts her in the chokehold, and then starts singing karaoke, singing Johnny Cash's version of the song Hurt, which was so surreal to be seeing that. And we're screaming Joe, let her go. Come on. Somebody do something. And finally Gary comes out and demanding that he let her go. Joe says, am I getting my rematch? Am I getting my rematch? Am I getting my rematch? Finally, Gary relents and says, yes, you get a rematch. Joe finally lets go. He got his way. We don't know when the rematch is. Will it be in February? We don't know the details yet. Stay tuned to social media to figure all that out. But it was just quite a way to end the show. And
He
I
snapped
just
straight out of her shoe, and that freaked me out.
it is just so surreal to see Joe acting the way he's acting. And again, like when he first turned was it last month? It was in December. And I remember saying, like, we're seeing a side of Joe Black we haven't seen in a long time. Or maybe it was a month before when he faced Owen.
Yeah, I think it was November.
Yeah. So it was November. And I remember saying that, like, this side, because when I first was familiar with Joe, when he first started in SHW, he wasn't, he got himself, like, he just organically got over, because he would always has this kind of bad attitude early on. And then the fans, he just turned into this, like, guy that the fans just adored, and the fans absolutely loved the guy. And it wasn't that he would come out and be all bubbly and happy-go-lucky. He was still just
he
serious,
was being himself.
take care of business, but the fans loved it. And then, so to see him over the last couple of months flip this switch, and it's just weird, man. It is so weird to see him acting like it's scary, obviously. And
when he and Huck were going through their feud, and I remember the promo where he made the statement, "I should have killed you. I should have killed you."
Yeah.
Talking to Huck, that side of Joe is, I think that's what we have now.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, during that feud that's just how bad everybody hated Huckabee at the time.
Right.
Was that Joe could act that way, but everybody would still be behind him and against Huckabee.
It's still all that emotion and all that mentality,
all that rage
there. That flipped him. God, that won him the match of the year, as well as that. Oh my, the dog collar match was out of this world. That was out of this world. But I don't think we're going to see something like that as far as he and Owen are concerned, as far as dog collar, whatever. It's just going to be a brawl.
Time will tell. I don't know how it's going to play out. But I do know that it's scary. And it was disgusting. His actions at the end of the show, had he done that to to David or to Owen, I wouldn't have liked that either, but it was Danny. It was Danny Jordan. I mean, come on, man. Look at this.
Injured. He's still not well.
Yeah. And not to take anything away from her ability and her talent, but with somebody like Joe Black and he's doing that to Danny, like, come on, man. That's you the line was way back here. The line was way back here. You have way crossed the line. Like
totally.
Anyways.
I echo that.
I'm glad she walked out on her own, which is great.
It got scary. It got very, very scary. And I definitely don't condone that type of action. It's scary. And I think everybody in SHW should be very concerned right now. Because if Joe Black will do that to get a shot at the SHW championship, what will he do to actually win it?
Yeah. Wow.
Who will he hurt? Who will he go through? This is a different Joe Black than who faced Owen Knight just a couple of months ago in that 30-minute classic. You know, that 30-minute classic, he was willing to, stay within the rules and do what was honorable. And I think something snapped in him. And I think what snapped is this idea that honor doesn't matter. Good guys finish last in his mind right now. And so by any means necessary is where he's at. And that could mean anything, because if he grabbed Danny and he knew she was on commentary and he did it because he knew it would get to Owen, what else will he do? That's the real question. And that's a very dangerous Joe Black. That's not the Joe Black you want to cross. Not at all.
Nope. I wouldn't want to cross Joe Black on a good day.
This is true.
Much less on a bad day. And there's been a lot of bad days over the last couple of months with Joe Black. He's no longer the killer weight. He's the black cloud, And
he's the black cloud.
Wow.
And I said it last month when he came to the ring for his match. It felt like a black cloud had just started hovering over the action building when he made his way out. Like, that's how eerie it feels when he comes out.
Yes.
And, we talked about this before too, GB and Diana, but like when he comes out, he stops by the commentary table and he just gives us that cold stare, and it's just bone chilling, right? Well,
I'm
even
careful right
scarier.
now with what I say about Joe Black.
Well, even scarier than that was when he comes out and he's got this psychotic grin and he's kind of singing along to his theme music, but he's making straight eye contact with us when he's coming out of the ring, and it's just like,
It's like
I'm telling GB, I'm like,
him.
look away, we got to look away, look away, look
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Like you can picture him walking through the gates of hell, doing his business, so whatever he wants to do, and turn around and walking right back out at his pleasure.
Yeah.
No fear, no remorse, no regard. It's something. When he and Owen finally do meet up again, which I do believe is soon, I'm gonna need Owen to dig deep.
Real deep.
He's gonna have to dig deep, not just to overcome Joe's physical ability, but his whatever's going on is driving him to be what he's being right now. Is
And the thing is, like with all that going on, he just won Wrestler of the Year for the second year in a row. And so, whatever's going on in his head, he's got that on top of it to brag, to pump it up even more, to tell these guys, hey, I'm the man. I just won it for the second year in a row. And in his award speech, he even talked about how first year he won it was like half the year he was injured. Second year he won it, he came back after half a year of being injured. It's like, and you guys can't win it on a full year of being healthy. So, it just adds to his motivation and everything that he's better than these guys. And
think about this too, with now the reformation of the new era. Think about this idea that not only does he have a leg up over Owen Knight, having just pinned Owen Knight, now that he's a two-time Wrestler of the Year, and he did it in a space where a lot of pundits thought that Owen's now brother again, David Ali, would be the one to walk away with that. So there's a psychological advantage that Joe Black has right now over all things new era. He's pinned Owen Knight. He attacked Danny Jordan. He beats out David Ali for Wrestler of the Year. He has one-upped all of new era.
And talk about psychological. He even says in his acceptance speech the other night, he's like, hey, I'll be honest, I voted for David Ali. And everybody else still voted for me, and so he ended up still winning the thing.
Wow.
And talk about getting a psychological advantage over David Ali. I mean, that doesn't do it, then.
So this gets very interesting, folks. And I think Owen Knight is about to be as severely tested as he has been in his title reign. And who knows what will happen.
We've got a lot to unpack as we head into SHW36 in February. And over the next, few weeks, just stay tuned to social media as we start announcing matches and all that good stuff. And it's gonna be exciting. We say it every month after the show. We get excited for the next show. Like, I'm already ready for it, but we got a few weeks to wait, but it's going to be good. And of course, we'll be back here with you on this podcast over the next few weeks as we build up to that show. So
build it up, buddy.
If do you guys have anything else for the fans before we let them go? We're running a little long here. You guys good?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We'll see you in February. Do not miss.
Happy New Year. Go Dogs. And hey, until next time, this has been
SHW.
This is our wrestling.